This is Paul Corvino, Division President of iHeartMedia in Los Angeles, California, with our pre-election segment called Meet the Candidates. Today I'm here with Nathan Hochman, the independent candidate running for District Attorney representing Los Angeles County. Welcome, Nathan.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Hey, before we get started, I like to do a little quick, rapid fire question answer.
Okay.
That gets the brain working, the mouth moving. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Beach or ski vacation?
Wow. Ski vacation, I'm going to have to go Utah, Park City.
Okay. Michael Jordan or Tom Brady?
Ooh. I'm old school. Got to go Jordan.
Beatles or Stones?
Again, I'm going old school.
They're both old school.
You know what? This time I'm going Stones.
Star Wars or Godfather?
Star Wars.
Sean Connery or Daniel Craig?
Oof. Oh, definitely Sean Connery.
Celebrity that people say you remind them of?
I'll go. I'm going to go with the one I hoped I remind them of, which was Tom Cruise. Because he's one of my favorites. So I doubt I remind anybody of him, but I'm still going to go with him.
I could see that. Do you want to scale the outside of the building here this afternoon?
You know what? That's part of the reasons I love the guy.
Well, welcome again. Hey, today what we want to do is I want to just find out a little bit about your journey. What drove you to the point where you're running for the big important job of district attorney in Los Angeles County? So tell me, how did it start? Where'd you grow up?
So lifelong Angelino, born in UCLA Hospital, grew up in LA, been there my whole life. Now married 31 years in LA, raised my 3 kids now in their 20s in Los Angeles. And, it was a great place to grow up. I mean, this is one of the greatest. I've had a chance to travel all over this world. I mean, I'm here to tell you, and I probably don't have to convince you, that LA County is one of the finest places to live in the entire world. But it's gotten a lot less fine over the last couple of years. We had a guy literally come in from San Francisco who was the DA there and destroyed the public safety. He's come into LA. He's trying to destroy our public safety. And I'm running for DA because I'm going to fight for what I love. I'm not going to leave. He's not going to make me, my family, my neighbors, my friends, this community leave. And there are people who have voted with their feet and left Los Angeles. Not me, and I'm going to stand up for all those people, not them either.
Tell us a little bit about where you were educated.
So I was educated at Brown University, then went to Stanford Law School. I had a chance to go to the University of Tokyo and the London School of Economics as well. Came back to Los Angeles, clerk for a federal judge, and went right into the U.S. Attorney's Office. I was there for 7 years as a federal prosecutor, did the whole gamut of cases, everything from narcotics trafficking and gang cases to money laundering, environmental crimes, and public corruption.
What do you think are the most important issues that you would have to address as the DA?
On day one, you got to address violent and property crime. It's out of control. It's up double digits every single year that George Gascon has been our district attorney. And what it is it's introduced fear into the calculation of people's lives. By that, I mean that a lot of people, when I was talking about people leaving, they stayed here for the high taxes, the traffic, the smog, and the earthquakes. But when people are afraid for themselves and their family to go out during the day and the night, when you're afraid to maybe wear that watch at an outside restaurant, or when you go back to your car, that you're part of the statistics, that now your car's been broken into, or you go home and your home's been broken into, that is creating a situation that is unsustainable for the residents here, for the store owners here, the businesses, for parents that are trying to raise their kids, teaching them right for wrong, where the DA's office doesn't have their back, for law enforcement, where a DA has been more interested in prosecuting law enforcement than partnering with them, and for victims groups, where a DA has literally abandoned victims and basically said he's not going to send a prosecutor to parole hearings when these victim families confront a murderer that is trying to get out of prison early that murdered their son, their daughter, or their parent.
So what are the actual steps that you will have to take to correct the problems that you just talked about?
So the steps actually start with who I get to help correct them. George Gascon has lost the support of all 750 deputy district attorneys. I've not only got the endorsement of their union, I've met with over 350 of them personally in the last several months to understand what's going right, and I'll keep it, and more often what's going wrong and their suggestions on how to fix it. part of their suggestions is, look, we got to get rid of these extreme decarceration policies that he instituted on his first day, first hour, first email in office. Those are the policies that say juveniles can steal just under $950 and not be prosecuted at all, that gangs can go ahead and operate as gangs and commit violent crimes as gangs, and yet the gang enhancement will never be used. This is situations with the gun enhancement. If someone uses a gun during a crime, Gascon's policies have often said we're not going to file the gun enhancement. So I will need to reverse those extreme policies on day one, but what I'm going to replace them with is not the other end of the pendulum swing, not mass incarceration. What I do is I'm going to replace them with what I call the middle or the hard middle policies. And the reason I call them hard is they actually require work. You got to look at each case individually, each individual defendant and the defendant's background. You got to look at the crime committed, the impact on the victim, to determine who the true threats are to our public safety and need to be behind bars, and quite honestly, the ones that aren't. Your first-time nonviolent offender, if they violate society's laws, they have to be held accountable and pay that debt back to society. But often the punishment can be community service. Pick up trash on the side of the road. Restitution, pay the money back if you stole it. Or a diversion program that if you have a serious drug addiction, you have a choice. You can go to state prison or jail, or you can do an 18-month rehab program that if you do it one day at a time and successfully do it, is to complete it, you'll get a certificate and a judge will wipe your record clean.
In the end, how would you measure success?
It's interesting. I've been asked that question more than once, and here's how I would not measure it. At the end of 4 years, if all I've succeeded in doing is filling the prisons to the breaking point, that's the failure of the criminal justice system. The true measure of success is have you deterred people from committing the crimes in the first place, thus saving a whole lot of victims. And if you ask me what era I'm shooting for, it's not the 1960s or 70s. It's actually the year of 2014, 10 years ago, because that year was considered our safest year in the last 50 years. So what was going right? You had a DA doing her job. It was Jackie Lacey. You had law enforcement understand that the DA's office was a partner with them to go after the criminals, and they were doing their jobs. Victims understood that if you dialed 911, not only would someone pick up the phone, but you could get justice for the harm you suffered. And as importantly, criminals understood where the lines were. The lines were the laws. They were being consistently, impartially, and fairly enforced, and there were real consequences on the other side of the line. And in record number, that year, 10 years ago, criminals were not committing the crimes. Deterrence was working, and we saved a lot of victims.
One more question. What are the Dodgers' chances of going all the way this year?
I've been a lifelong Dodger fan. I would say 100% they're going to win. But nothing in this world is 100%. But if Shohei Ohtani keeps doing what he's doing, the rest of their MVP lineup keeps hitting the way they should, and the pitching comes through, that's always the random factor in the playoffs. But if they can bring that pitching with that offense, there's no stopping the Dodgers.
Well, thank you so much, Nathan. Once again, we are here with Nathan Hochman, the independent candidate running for district attorney in Los Angeles County. This is Paul Corvino saying thank you for listening to another episode of Meet the Candidates.